All right, well, zingers are nice, but hopefully a lot of people will be watching for something even more substantive this evening, let's just say. All right, there's a way, obviously, to do both, and that's what makes a debate a debate. I want to bring in my panel. Anna Maria Cox is senior political correspondent for MTV News. Matt Schlapp is former George W. Bush political director, chairman of the American Conservative Union. John Phillips is our political and a Donald Trump supporter, and David Brock is founder of the pro-Clinton super PAC Correct the Record. So one thing that we do know, David, is that Hillary Clinton's going to get the first question. This was settled before, right? Sort of a coin toss type of a thing.
Right.
We know that. What does that mean in terms of setting the tone?
Well, I think it presents an opportunity for her to show herself as strong, serious, stable, and substantive. And I think that will make a nice contradiction from what we'll see from Donald Trump. I think it's also important to get the last word in. We don't know who's going to do that. And then I think the other point is that she can wait to pivot to her attacks. And we're all going to be very anxious to see what those are.
Sean, what do you say? Is it good for Donald Trump or bad for him that he doesn't have the first question?
I think it'll set the tone, and I think he'll respond to whatever it is that she does. And I think that's probably a good idea for him, because as much as I'd love to see the Lisa Lampanelli Act, it's probably a good idea for him to resist those impulses and try to look like the guy that was in Mexico, try to look like the guy that's been campaigning the last few weeks on the teleprompter, on message. He needs to tailor his message today to Republican women that voted for Romney that aren't yet sold on him. If he can show those voters that he is temperamentally fit to be president, he's going to have a very good night.
And temperament may matter a lot. Matt, you've been here before, and you
Sure.
were in the case of George W. Bush, Al Gore. Al Gore was vastly perceived to have the substantive edge, the policy edge, and yet he lost the debate.
We were a little scared going into that debate, I'll be honest. These are a little bit frightening moments for campaigns. And when you have a candidate who's never run for president before, remember, we usually elect people who have run before. Barack Obama was kind of an anomaly. And Hillary Clinton's been on these stages before, and Donald Trump hasn't. And he's an outsider. There's good things about that, but there are moments like this where experience, helps you a bit in these debates. So I think we're all waiting with anticipation to see how it goes, but I agree totally with the comments. He's just got to seal the deal with this large number of undecideds that he is ready to be their president. Because they've already decided in so many ways that Hillary Clinton, with her terrible negatives and the fact that they don't think she's honest and trustworthy, they want to make sure that he's the guy for them.
So, Anna, when we look at the poll that just came out from Monmouth, 10% say this debate is somewhat likely to have an impact. 87% say they don't see any possibility where the debate will actually have an impact. Now, I only say that to point out.
I hope we're not all doing this for
excited.
nothing. I mean, come on.
But look, 10%, when you look at polls that are 2 or 3%, I mean, that's 3 times more than you need to completely turn the whole election.
Right.
So
I mean,
that's
historically, pollsters will tell you that these debates don't move the needle that much. But in this election, not moving the needle that much will matter.
Yeah.
It's funny, we've been talking about who gets the first question. I am really focused more on the last few minutes of the debate because Donald Trump has not shown himself to be able to sustain the amount of energy that he usually puts out at a debate to the very end. I think that's really going to be interesting. The first part, I imagine he will be disciplined. I imagine we may see Mexico City Trump because he can do that for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know if he can do that for 90 minutes.
That is an issue here. And we know at one point...
but I feel it's the opposite. I feel like her events are so short. When has she had a 90-minute event in the last 6 months? Have you gone to these rallies? They go on and on and on. Have you ever gone to one of his press conferences? He has amazing energy, and I never have really heard anybody criticize him for kind of like getting tired.
It's not so much that he gets tired; it's that he gets loose. I'm not sure. I'm not worried about him like maybe losing stamina. I'm worried about him saying some stuff that he may regret later. I mean, I'm not worried personally about it. I think that might be fine. But if I were you guys, I would be worried about that.
I mean, that is an interesting point. John, are you concerned about that? Because we know there was a point last week that he stood in front of a podium for 5 hours, right? So to ensure that he could do that without taking a bathroom break, okay, that shows you can do it a lot longer than you need to. But that's not the same thing as having someone at another podium and practicing back and forth, which we did not do.
Well, I'd be lying if I'd say that there are certain days I want to slip some sedatives in his KFC. But he's a winner. He likes to win. He sees victory that's 2 points away, according to the ABC poll. And he knows that if he's going to win this election, he has to be disciplined.
All right, so let's talk about these one-liners. Now, he is known for his one-liners. Now, of course, Matt, when you come through a debate with 17 people and you get 6 minutes, all you need is 1 or 2 zingers.
He's actually known for his
whole debate.
He's actually known for his adjectives. If you really think about it,
Well-
one-word descriptors.
Even less than a zinger. Like even less content than
It's
a zinger.
more like a zing. You know?
Yeah, right. And the question, of course, will he use her moniker tonight, which I think pretty much, I don't know whether you guys will disagree, no one has said would be a good idea. But what do you each think the best zinger or one-liner would be?
Well, I mean, I do think focusing on zingers is not necessarily a service to the Republic. And I also want to point out that Donald Trump zingers tend to be based on people's looks or attitudes and not so much on substance. That said, if I were Hillary, I'd go low. I mean, I'm not proud. I know you don't believe in global warming, but where did you get that tan?
Wow, there you go.
There
That would be one. And he would respond
good.
then in kind times 10.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
sure.
Matt.
I think this whole campaign really comes down to the economy. And the Clintons have done very well, while one of them has been serving in government, and recently it's been Hillary Clinton. And so I would go right to this question of the economy and say, you know what? There was a time when the Clintons were dead broke, and they've got it backwards. We need the Clintons to go back and be dead broke, and the American people to actually gain wealth and be successful. And I hit it right on it.
They're trying to do a substantive zinger of sorts. Okay, John?
Okay.
When she starts bragging about getting the endorsements of every 904-year-old Republican that's ever worked in national security, I would say, you only need co-signers when your credit is bad.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
All right, David.
Well, for Hillary, I would say a vote for you is a vote for the ISIS terrorists and Vladimir Putin. And open up both of those issues. Open up his foreign investments from Russia. I think that would be effective. And then for Trump, I'm going to give an objective answer. I think he should say, Hillary, you're bought and paid for. You even came to my wedding because I gave you money.
Wow, that's
Very good.
That's sort of a combo.
The ability to put the
Very
one
good.
on the other shoe.
Got the full
Yeah.
combo.
I can do that.
Yeah.
That is pretty.
Hey, David,
that's
this
pretty
is on tape. I want
Someone could be
I've
watching.
got one to add for her. Do you want to vote for the first woman president or potentially the last president?
Oh, there you go. Wow. Like he doesn't like that one.
Got to be hopeful and optimistic in politics. That's
Right, hopeful and